Hello everyone! While we're all waiting for Final Fantasy XVI to finish installing to play tomorrow, here are 6 tips to help you breeze through your first playthrough. Tip number 1, the combos. At the beginning of the game, you've got young Clive and you've just got the EIKON Phoenix. So you get dash on circle, you get fire on triangle, and you get physical attacks on square. The highest DPS at the start is attack, 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 fire. So a fast option you can also do is just alternating between attack and fire, but because of the cooldowns and the animation speed, it's actually less DPS than just doing 4 attacks followed by the fire spell. When you get more EIKONs later on in the run, and you upgrade your abilities such as your magic and spells and things like that, it could change, but at the beginning, stick to 4 attacks and a fire. Tip number 2, the lunge. So you get a lunge ability that you can learn really early on. It's crazy fast. So you pretty much instantly dash across the screen, maybe half a second cooldown, straight into it again. Really fast at moving in the game. So absolutely huge to have. In the iconic challenge mode, you play as older Clive, who's got the beard and the other things that are happening. And you've got exactly the same lunge ability, which is way slower for some reason. It's got a huge cooldown time on it. You can also upgrade it to get a higher level one, which is even slower than the original. So if you are using that as a movement tool, I mean, just don't, because running is actually faster than the older lunge. The only thing to keep in mind with that one is that if you're dashing at an enemy using the lunge ability, super fast, you can do that with really quick cooldowns. It's just using it as a normal movement tool throughout conventional areas. It's gonna be slow, stick to running. Tip number 3, items. Items are really weird in Final Fantasy XVI. So you have an inventory, as you would with most JRPGs. You can go into the menu, you can use items like potions and things like that. There also is a hotbar where you can use them in the same way that you would in something like Kingdom Hearts. And what you'll see is that you've got a limited amount of items and you can only put 1 on each slot. And by limited, I'm talking like 3 or 4. Whether or not your capacity goes up in something like Dark Souls and you can use more items on the field, we don't know yet. But one thing you can do is just use your items freely at will, because what will happen is when you get to the maximum amount, when you pick up that item on the field, it automatically uses it because it goes to an overflow. You don't actually get more of those items, it just clears them out. Wait, insufficient inventory space? Potion used? High potion used? So you get tons of potions and high potions from what I've seen in the game. So feel free anytime, just get them down. Just drink, glug your potions, because more will come and you get a really small max. Tip number 4. EIKON abilities. So when you get more EIKONs, each of them has got a set amount of abilities. So everyone has got one fixed ability, which is on the circle, and that just plays as exactly as it is. Then you get 2 other abilities that you can switch between. So if you learn an ability, it automatically goes on to square, triangle, and you use it when you've got that EIKON equipped or currently active. Every time you switch using R2 to go to a different EIKON, you use the other abilities. Now the really cool thing is, when you master an EIKON ability, you can actually equip that ability to a different EIKON. So let's say you've got 4 really powerful abilities on one EIKON. You could use all 4 of those abilities back to back by having 2 learnt on the EIKON it's 4 and mastering the other 2 and equipping them onto a different EIKON. So it's really important when you're switching through and hot swapping EIKONs and abilities to prioritize this ability is really good and I want that more than I want a normal ability on a different EIKON. Obviously, as we get ability points through the game, there are certain abilities you'll have enough to learn and enough to master, and I'll have to play around and explore and experiment with different combinations, but for sure there will be abilities that you want on EIKONs that don't learn them. So think about your mastery points, think about your ability points, and definitely get the value out of those really powerful EIKONs. Don't forget, you can always undo all the abilities that you've learned in the menu. So if you find that something isn't really working for you, you can just undo that, try something else out, and hot swap to your heart's content. Tip number 5, hot swapping your EIKONs. So far what we've seen in the Iconic Challenge, there are 3 EIKONs that you can go and you can equip in a certain order. The order is really important because you can only switch from an EIKON to another EIKON in one direction going forwards. So whatever order you have your EIKONs in the menu will dictate the order that you swap through. So you'll want to have the abilities that you want to queue up in order so that you're always cycling through efficiently between your different abilities. So you're going to want to think about abilities that are increasing stagger gauge, affecting the enemy's will, and damage when you're going through your order to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck out of the abilities that you're using. The more EIKONs you've got and the more abilities you can hot swap between, the more effective your combat's going to be. Tip number 6, the rings. So, you get timely rings in Final Fantasy XVI. Depending on whether you play story mode or action mode, certain ones will be equipped or will not be equipped. And they're all there to help you. Frankly, they're broken. So, we've got the ring of slow motion, which means if an enemy is going to attack you, you can dodge at a particular time. The enemy goes into slow-mo, you stay in the regular speed, and you can just wheel on them with damage. Really, really cool ring to have. The ring of auto attack. No, don't. Not good. So you just spam attack and it will automatically cycle through different combos and situations that the game thinks is best. Obviously, if you just want to hold X to win and play the game for fun that way, it's great. You can totally AFK farm the fights by doing that. But if you actually want to think about the combat that you're doing and make sure you're executing combos based on the enemy's health, based on the highest DPS and all those things, doing the auto attack is just going to ruin it for you. So not advised. The ring of auto dodge. This one's great. So basically, if an enemy's going to attack you and you press R1 in the right timing, you'll dodge an attack and then you can carry on with the combat. This just does it for you. So if you're happy enough to do it and you're not like, oh, this is totally cheating, it's super worth doing. It's really effective. It doesn't affect your combat and you inputting the actions to the enemy, and it just makes life happy, hunky-dory for you. A great ring. The ring of healing. This one's great. It just heals you automatically when you need it. So instead of you having to focus on your hit points and also managing combos and also managing spacing, the game's just going to heal you automatically. So again, if you're totally cool with that kind of ring and that kind of experience in your life, it's no-brainer. Get the ring on, get your free healing, carry on, win, good. The puppy ring. This is like probably the best ring in the entire game. So later on in the game, when your puppy, Torgal, grows up into a big puppy, he will fight alongside you in battle. And it's super, super cool. But the way it works is you can control Clive with one set of buttons and you can control Torgal with another set. So you could be controlling two different characters with two different sets of controls at the same time. That's going to be really, really difficult and really complicated to work with. So having a ring that just lets Torgal attack for you is super useful. The only thing where it's going to get in the way is sometimes Torgal will just run, like bum rush in and do like spinny red 13 kind of things. And if you're about to attack an enemy, it might make you miss them. And it might also affect your DPS where you might want to move quicker to attack another one and you're just wasting combos. So there we have it. 6 tips to help you with your first playthrough of Final Fantasy XVI. Things to remember. Smashy, 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 fiery. Lunge in the early, not in the late. Get your items, use them early, use them often. Make sure you master the skills that you want in your other icons. Make sure your icons are in the right order and get your rings the way you want them. Have a great time. Enjoy playing Final Fantasy XVI. Come watch me play Final Fantasy XVI for the first time this Friday, the 23rd of June, twitch.tv/Metako. Watch my videos on YouTube so you can see the uploads and follow along with the journey. It is going to be great. Subscribe, like, comment. What are you most looking forward to? Final Fantasy XVI. See you soon.